Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something really fun. We're going to vibe code a game using Gemini inside Google AI Studio. Now, if you've ever wanted to build a game but felt like coding was too complex, this is going to change everything. We're literally going to use AI to speed up the process. We're going to spark ideas and we are going to bring a game to life right from our browsers. In this tutorial, here's what we're going to do. First up, we're going to build and prompt. We'll be using Google AI Studio build mode to generate a working game from a single prompt. Then we are going to refine with system instructions. Let's just call it our way of vibe checking our future edits. It's just a way of saying, hey, I want you to behave like this, and it's going to do exactly that. And we're going to learn how to save, create our projects and save to Github directly from Google AI Studio. And finally, we are going to learn how to deploy to cloud to run. So we're basically going to ship our game or our app to cloud such that another person can access and see what you have built. Now, here's what you will need. First of all, if you're not on your laptop, this is a time where I'll say take a pause, go make sure that you're logged in on your laptop, and let's get going. First off, you're going to need a Chrome web browser. You're going to need a Gmail account. You're going to need a cloud project with billing enabled, and you're going to need a Gemini API key. And finally, you're going to need a GitHub account. All right, so if you have gotten all of those, let's dive straight in. Now, we are going to visit this website, aistudio.google.com, and this is what you're going to see when you get to the website. It's a pretty easy, straightforward website that you can just browse through to see what other thing is there. But then you may want to click on Get Started and set up your account using your Google account. Now, once we've done that, I have created ready-made prompts that we'll be using to work with. And this is the first one. Okay, so let's first of all log into Google AI Studio. When you log into Google AI Studio, this is what you're going to see. The dashboard is pretty easy and straightforward really to see. You might see a lot of things and get overwhelmed. Don't worry, I got you. Let me just quickly explain to you what this means. So first off, we have this section that has a bit of history of your prompts, things that you've done before, built before. And then there's the build mode. There is a dashboard. You can access your dashboard. You can access your documentation if you want to read more about Google AI Studio and certain things that you need to do or how to troubleshoot certain issues that you may run into. There's also some other things here that you may want to go through. And then within the app itself, these are different AI models that you can use. And then we'll also have on the right side this option to choose which of the AI models you want to use for your project. We'll also have the parts that has the same system instructions. We'll be getting to that later in this course. And then API key, temperature, and every other thing that you may want to do. So if I were to be you, I will just click around to see how these things work. But let's actually dive into why we're here. On your dashboard, you're going to click on build. You should be able to see build on your dashboard. So you're going to click on it and it's going to open this interface for you. Before I proceed, I just want to make sure that I explain this properly. When you put in just any prompt here, it's just like you prompting any other normal large language model out there. But for Google AI Studio, when you click on build and it brings you here, it means that every prompt you input here and every setting that you include here will build an app or project for you. I have already written down a prompt that you want to use. At this point, you can check the link in the description and you're definitely going to see this prompt. Now, pay attention to how I have written this prompt. This might not be the best prompt out there that you have possibly seen, but it's going to take us from point A to point B. So let's go back to Google AI Studio. So first off, we are going to paste our prompt here, select our model. Now, to select your model, you're going to check the top right section of the screen. You're going to see the settings icon. You click on it. The first option, select model. You may want to make sure that you are on the latest model, right? So that can be 3.0, 3.1, depending on when you watch this video. But we're going to stick with 3.1 Pro preview. And if you just check through, you're going to see that we're using the React framework. If there's any other framework that you had inputted in your prompts, this is the time to select it. Or sticking to React. Now let's go ahead and build and see what this will give to us. All right, so Google AI Studio has given us a first draft of what our potential game could look like, and this is what we have. Now this is on the preview section. You can click on code to go through the code just to see what has been done and what you can do to change it. But for people that are not coders, you have no business being there. Now we obviously did not give it a name, but it did give us a name, acoustic guesser. This is score counter. Remember, I had shown you that in the prompt here where we said and the score counter for the game. And then remember what it was. So the AI app is going to randomly choose a celebrity's name or an object's name, and we are supposed to just start guessing out of nowhere, right? And that's what we're going to check to see if it works. Now this is the music side with the AI generated music, so let's see if this is working. Okay, so we can see that the music is working. We had asked for an AI generated music, but we didn't specify what kind of music we're looking for. So I guess we can work with this. And you can also see that the volume control is working as well. Now, with the way it looks, this is the reset button. So I'm guessing that once we're done playing and we want to reset this game, we can start. All right, so it says I have chosen a place. You have 10 questions to guess what it is. Okay, so let's see. The first place that comes to my mind is Japan. It's saying no. Okay. Nigeria. And it keeps showing us. So this number is a countdown that, okay, you have 8 chances left. Okay, let me just select key. I said no. Game over. The correct answer was Mount Everest. That was interesting. Now, you see, it changed an emoji for us. So it's already setting us ahead and giving us a head start on what to do. Now, if I were to improve this game, I would either go into this prompt box and say something like, add a 20 seconds countdown timer. The game should end and show me the answer after the timer ends. Also, add a hint icon that when I click it, it shows me the first letter of the answer. If I click again, it should keep showing the next letter till it gets to the reveal. So we're going to enter this and see what it gives to us. We are done. It has started counting already, and that just shows that it needs more work. I should be able to click on start before the counter starts, before I can start answering. This just says time's up. I've chosen a place. The correct answer was Great Wall of China. I just needed to show us how important it is to keep prompting. Don't be scared that you don't have the correct prompt at the first start. When you keep prompting, it continuously improves your app till you get the exact thing that you're looking for. So now the next thing I want to show us is called annotation here on Google AI Studio. So basically, annotation is similar to you editing your app visually. Instead of putting in prompts, general prompts, you might want to annotate certain sections of this app. So you like the entire app, instead of you to send in a new prompt that might scatter the code, you just want to edit just one part. So we're going to click here, the chat box. You're going to look for an icon that looks like this, annotate mode. You may want to select a rectangle or an arrow or whatever it is you want to annotate. So let's say this one. Once you annotate, you can add your prompt and say the emoji should zoom in and out when it's game over. Now let's submit this and see what will happen. It's done building. Let's see if that worked. So let's wait for this countdown and let's see. It worked. So remember that using annotation, we pointed to this call here because we wanted to make sure it zooms in and out anytime we have game over. Another functionality in this Google AI Studio that I'd like to walk you through is the speech to text. So you can click on speech to text and record your prompt. So just in case you're so tired, if you're a lazy person like me, you can use speech to text to write out your prompt. For instance, we're going to say increase the timer to to 1 minute. So now I was too lazy to type that and I just said it out. Okay, you obviously need to take a look at the prompt to be sure that it's what you want. I'm gonna say increase a timer to 1 minute. We're gonna enter this to see how it looks like. Alrighty, so using our spoken vibe, we've been able to increase the timer to 1 minute. Isn't that cool? So up next, we are going to learn how to input system instructions for our app so that it gives or carries that vibe that we're looking for. Unlike a normal prompt, system instructions persist throughout the entire session. So it's literally the best place that you can use to define your coding standards, your naming conventions, or a specific visual persona that shouldn't change all through the process of building this particular app. In your Google AI Studio, this interface, we are going to click on the settings button at the top right, and there you have system instructions. Now, the thing with system instructions is that you have the option to upload a file if you already have a comprehensive file that you have put together, or you can write your own instructions. In this case, we already have a prompt, which is what we're going to use. It's just basically you using this space to tell Google AI Studio the do's and don'ts of what you want your app to be. For this particular app, I had created several system instructions. So these system instructions, you may want to pause to read. It carries a whole lot of things: the visual style, tone, build, app concepts, the game itself, the music player, UI, the logic, output, everything that we want it to do. And once you have finished putting in the instructions that you have set, you're going to save changes. The thing with Google AI Studio is that changing your system instructions in the middle of building your app does not automatically rewrite your code or change your interface. You have to tell Gemini to apply these rules that you have just set. So we're going to go ahead and close this panel, and we're going to come back to our prompt space, and we're going to give it a simple instruction. We build the application UI to strictly follow the new system instructions, and then we're going to click on run, and let's see what it will do for us. So let's note that by the time we have set our system instructions, some things might change. And the good thing is that whatever we're going to do from now henceforth is going to carry this vibe. So you always have to make sure that your system instructions carries everything you want your app to look like. Now you see our interface has slightly changed. We can still see the music, we can still toggle the volume, we can see the score here, and we can see every other thing that we need to see. Before we move to the next stage, I'm just going to add a start and a stop button here so that it doesn't just start playing on its own. Alright, so I guess we are ready to move to the next phase of this tutorial. You can always prompt this further if you want to keep improving your app, but let's move to the next stage. We are going to learn how to save our project to GitHub. Let's click on the settings icon, and we're going to scroll. So depending on when you watch this and what updates must have been made, your interface might look a bit different, but we're going to scroll all the way down. Then we're going to see GitHub. You're going to click on GitHub, and you are going to choose a repository name. I have already logged into my GitHub using Google AI Studio. So when you get to this point, if you have not already logged into GitHub, you'll be prompted to log into GitHub. Just follow the steps and log into GitHub, and it will bring you to this page. So when you get to this point, you can be as creative as possible. I am calling mine Acoustic Guesser Game. I mean, that's the name that AI gave to me, and it kind of sounds nice. And they also have to put in the description. Always make this public when creating, except you're creating a private platform, that's fine. But for sample projects like this, always make the repository public so others will be able to discover it. Now, before we create this GitHub repository, let me go over to my GitHub repo for you to see what I have here so far. You can see that the last repository that I created was called the AI generated snake game with React. I did this on Google AI Studio as well, and that was over 2 weeks ago. We see here that I have 13 repositories. So now you see what my last project was. I just needed to show you this so we'll be sure that when we create this, it's going to show up on our repository. So let's go ahead and click on create. The good thing about this is that Google AI Studio will initialize a new repo for you that you have created. It's going to commit your generated code and push it to GitHub in the background. So all you need to do is cross your legs and and wait. So when you get to this page, it has showed you files that has been changed and will be pushed to your GitHub and every other thing. You can add changes here. However you want to do that will be as descriptive as possible. And then you're going to stage and commit all changes. Now it is pointing us to this URL. Before I click on this URL, I would like to come back to my GitHub repo and refresh this page to see if it worked. And here it is. We see that this was just updated now and you can see the name and everything. So you don't even need to come all the way to GitHub to start creating a new repository and start looking for how to clone the code, bring it back and all of those things. If you click on it, you can see every file that I have here and you'd be able to explore. Alternatively, when this has been done, it's going to show you this URL. You can click on it and open and it's still going to bring you to the same project. The final thing that we're going to do today is pushing our app to go live so other people can interact with it. What we're basically going to do is to click on publish. This might look different in your interface. This might be publish, this might be run, this might be go live, this might be deploy, whatever it is, it's all the same thing. So we're going to click on get started, and when we get here, we are going to create our project. Remember, I had told you at the beginning that you're going to need a cloud billing account. We're getting there. So you are going to create a new project. Let's call it Gemini Project Acoustic G. We're just going to create that project. Once we get here, if you are just using this for the first time, you're going to be prompted to add your billing account because you definitely do need AI credits to push this live. So you're going to be prompted to add your billing account, and then let's just go ahead and push this to live and see what it looks like. And voila, it is done, and you can see here your app is published. So let's open and see. This is what it looks like. If you have gotten to this point with me on your laptop, if you were following along this tutorial, congratulations, you have successfully completed this session by building a game using Gemini on Google AI Studio and have deployed it to Cloud Run. And then we have also created a repository from Google AI Studio and pushed our code to GitHub. So you can go ahead and share this link with anybody that cares to watch or see what you worked on, and they will be able to interact with your app and do what they need to do. So I hope you learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, this is the time to drop them in the comments, but let me know how this tutorial went, if you learned a thing or two, if you run into issues, if there are things you want me to troubleshoot, and I'll be happy to do them. Until next time, see you and keep practicing.